Hello and welcome to Terralina LLC. My name is Eleanor. Today we are talking about the universal month of April, which is a 3 energy. So what does that mean and how do we get the 3 from for April? So as you remember, if you looked at videos before, we are in an 8 universal year, meaning that we all are experiencing this 8 energy. If you want to understand what that means or that might bring for you this year, as there's a video of it you could watch here. Just go back a bit. uh, and so we're in the 8 universal year, and we are in the 4th month of the year. So 4 plus 8 is 12, and 1 and 2 is 3. So that it alone has this energy, and it kind of has this momentum, like 1, 2, 3, go, right? So we might feel like that. Plus, we are in this time of this Aries energy. And there's a lot going on in Aries, especially when the eclipse happens. It's happening in Aries. So what does that all mean? So let me break it down and just do piece by piece, because we can get so go down that rabbit hole very easily. Okay, so first of all, with this 3 energy, what does the 3 energy kind of bring during a period of time? So oftentimes people talk about friendships, having fun, just really not taking anything too seriously. And kind of, it could be a time of where we're not expressing ourselves in the best way. Because the energy of 3 is about communication, creativity, self-expression. And it can be with this energy of just screw it all. And not taking responsibility for your own actions. And I want to say your own behaviors at this time. So with that 3 energy, it's not the best time to make any big decisions. It is a good time to have fun with friends, but kind of watch yourself. And I feel like this whole time period here is about you taking accountability and responsibility for your own actions. And even more than just that, being aware of how you're acting. Where are you acting out from? Are you acting out from childhood wounds? That's one thing I really want to talk about here. And where is it that we need friendships? So we spoke a little bit about that 3, but also I want to talk about the 12, 1 and 2. So when we're looking at a double digit in numerology, we're looking at the second number, so the 2 here. And what is that all about? That's about relationships, partnerships, harmony, balance, peace, trying to find this peace in our life. And the 1 is about us, understanding ourselves. And that is a very Aries energy. It's a very fiery kind of energy where we need to take responsibility for who we are and not let our past be the thing that drives us, especially if there's a lot of wounds that we have not healed from the past. We're trying to figure out how to heal those wounds so that those aren't the driving energies to who we are in relationships, what we want from a relationship, what we need from a relationship, and not taking ownership of having those things for ourselves, gaining those things for ourselves. If I want balance and harmony in a relationship, I need to have balance and harmony within myself. Okay, so I feel like that's a big part of what we're looking at right now for this energy. So who we are, how we come to the table in all relationships, partnerships, friendships, business, working with other people, co-workers, I want to say. Even if you're in a place of management, you have employees, how are you treating your employees, right? So I feel like this might bring up, because Aries itself is a very kind of heady energy, right? The ram is very much into their head, and they're not so much in their heart and their feelings or emotions. So it's taking some time to slow yourself down when you're, and I want to say confronting somebody, because I feel like confronting can become very combative if you're not paying attention to where you're feeling this energy of, I have to guard myself. I have to kind of just go to fight for something. We don't need to fight for anything. When we know who we are and we're living in our own peace, we're more open to seeing that other person for who they are and what they might need, or where they might be coming from when they come to a situation where they might be a little combative. Um, it could be the opposite way too. For the three energy, I want to say for this month, oftentimes we will find a friend who is the life of the party. They want to be there. They want to be center stage. They want to be seen. That's what it is. Now, when they're alone, they could they become very depressed because they don't know how to be with themselves. So that's when they're out, they're just full out, right? So it's hard for them to be alone because they don't want to face all those negative thoughts about themselves, the past. So because this is an energy of communication, also, it's a great time to find a therapist, find somebody who you could talk to and kind of help yourself to bring up these emotions and express them, because you don't want to express them after you've had a couple of drinks. you know, you're being that person, right? So, as my soon-to-be son-in-law I like to say, it's time to get your house in order. But I also want to say, because a house is the body, right? We are our own home, our own temple, but also the mind. It's going to be a big part of the mind, because to me it's getting the mind and the heart, the head and the emotions in line, and letting your heart be driven by this clarity of who you are, and having kindness and compassion for who you are, what you've experienced, and letting go of those things. When I say letting go, I don't mean just sweeping things under the rug. Not at all. I mean processing them as much as you need to. Not everybody has to go deep, deep, deep into things and figure them out. But once there's awareness of why I behave this way, or why I'm looking for that thing from that person and I can't find it for myself, then we're able to work with it, right? So with this Aries energy, I want to talk about the eclipse on the 8th. Okay. Again, we are in an 8 universal year, and then this is on the 8th of April. So we have 8, 4, and 8. These numbers are big. They're very much about being in control, being in power. And so when we say power and control, it sounds like a negative thing, but being in our own power knows who we are. It's about knowing who we are, I should say. And knowing that we control our own happiness, knowing that we control our state of mind and our state of our heart, right? And what's driving us. We control that. Nobody else controls that. And being strong enough to allow people to not hurt you, not trigger you, I should say, and being open for them to be maybe show their not so great sides, but having compassion for them when they do show those parts of them, and understanding that these behaviors really do come from a different place. And this could be, we're seeing a lot of people kind of want to be in groups lately. Groups. Possibly it's because they've never had, or they've never felt like they belonged anywhere. So they'll grab onto any group that welcomes them, welcomes their ideas, and listens to them, because they've never had that, right? They feel like they belong somewhere. So when you're trying to tell somebody they're wrong, you're asking them to let go of all of that too. It's not just saying you're wrong, change your mind, look at this. You're asking them to change their whole world when that happens, okay? And having to find themselves again, and maybe feeling alone again. They don't want to do that, okay? So Aries, like I said, Aries is the first house. It's all about us, who we are. So is that 1 in the 12, as I mentioned. So it's us understanding ourselves so that we can go into the world and be the best person for us. When we're the best person for us, we could be the best person for everybody else too. Is there anything else I want to say about the eclipse? I did think about the idea that, our sun, how we shine, is being eclipsed. It's going to go into a place of darkness. So at this moment, when we're in darkness of how we shine, how we're seen in the world, or how we think people see us, I should say. That's being eclipsed. So this is a great time to go into, how do I feel like people are seeing me? Do I want people to see me that way? Is that my true self? So these are some questions you could ask yourself at this time. In tarot, and throw some tarot cards in here too, real quick. So in tarot, we are looking at Aries is the Emperor card. Again, power, control, all those things. But it's, we have to govern ourselves, and that's what the Aries or the Emperor card is. It's about governing, and taking care of, a lot of people, right? We have to sometimes do the hard things, and some people might not be happy, but other people are going to be taken care of. So it's this thing about finding that balance of what serves the majority of people in the best way. Okay, so that's the Emperor in tarot, and that represents Aries. So what I thought was kind of interesting here is that there is a dynamic here of this yin yang, masculine, feminine kind of play back and forth, because then we go to the 3 energy of the month, and that's the Empress. The kindness, the compassion, the creativity. She's the one that brings things forward, and she's the one that asks you, how will what you bring forward serve you and others? How can you do this with kindness and love, right? So you have the Emperor who's governing, so it's the mother and father kind of energy. Now, when we look at the 1 and 2, we have the Magician card and the High Priestess card. The Magician card says, hey, within you, you have everything to have this very balanced life, but you need to control your mind, your heart, what excites you, your spirit, and the physical. So what are you going to bring through the spirit, through the mind, through the heart, into the physical? And that's your world, your life. So when you have those 4 aspects of yourself in balance, then again, I'm saying the same thing over and over in just different ways. When you're good with yourself, you have peace within yourself, you have compassion, there's not much that could kind of knock you off your rails, right? There's not much that's going to trigger you, and you have compassion to see where other people have not done that work for themselves, and they're being triggered from things. So their behaviors are not a true behavior. It's the reactions are from something from the past. So when we could all see that, and I wish we could all see that, in your best friend and your worst enemy, I wish you could see that. And it's funny because we can have compassion for our friends and know that, oh yeah, that happened, and that person's still struggling with that breakup or whatever. But going back to say, okay, well, that trigger of those breakups, why he's or she's so stuck in that, is because of something from the past. And it's hard for them to move through breakups. Okay, so yeah, and I just want to check one thing, because I believe if I put 1 and 2 together, give me a minute. I'm going to pause this real quick. Okay, I had to check something real quick. So I did pull the cards out, and I just wanted to show you this. So 12 in the major arcana of tarot is the Hanged Man. So to me, this is talking about taking a pause. Okay, so taking a moment before you act or react, when it comes to your friendships. Taking a pause, especially I want to say during that eclipse time with this kind of thing, the halo behind him. Taking a pause and asking yourself, how can I make my relationships better, where I am not the person that's always the needy person in a relationship, where I am more free to express myself, to be myself, and to be open to other people's personalities, challenges, and have that compassion for them as well as myself. Okay, so whatever's not working in those relationships, but it also could be whatever's still kind of dragging you down, whatever's creating some depression, or something that you haven't worked through yet, and that you is holding you back in some way. This is a great time to work on that, because once you're able to overcome those things that, or situations, I want to say, those experiences of the past, that you can try to get those 4 aspects of yourself from the Magician card, 4 aspects of yourself in line, and you could be the best person you can be. Okay, so there's an aspect of as above, so below, and it's once we get all these things, it's what we create from who we are, in those 4 parts of ourselves, bringing those 4 together, and what we can create in our life. And I want to say our life is the creation. What we bring into our lives is the creation that we are like looking at. Now the High Priestess, because we have the 1 and the 2 here, the High Priestess asked us to go inside. And if you're not meditating or doing some kind of journaling or something like that, this kind of work might be a little difficult for you. So if you know somebody that does this kind of work, maybe ask them for some tips on how to get started with. A lot of people call this shadow work. But really it is about looking at your past and where you're still holding certain beliefs, certain emotions that were developed. That was the origin of those beliefs and emotions. Going back and helping yourself, or having somebody help you through the process of picking them apart and looking at them for what they truly are. Now, I just want to say real quick that the things that happen to us as children happen to us, right? They're not us. Somebody else's own issues caused them to do what they did to us, and it's not us, right? We were born without all this stuff, and we experience these things. So as we experience these things, they kind of start chiseling away and start kind of creating who we are. But it's all in the mind. And sometimes when we get so stuck in the mind, it's hard to move. The mind kind of governs everything that we do, how we act, how we live, what we believe, right? So that is the lens that you view your life from. Okay? So once we're with the High Priestess and we take those deep looks inside and finding that balance between what is true about who I am and the things that I need to cut away. Okay, so a lot of those beliefs we need to cut away and find who we truly are. Then we have the Empress again. So we had that 1, 2, and 3. So the Empress is the mother energy. And like I said, she's all about creation and asking you how you are going to use this life that you create. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to serve? And then the Emperor is asking you to govern yourself. How are you going to govern yourself? And this is all about you. It's not about anyone else. Okay? So with all of that, I just want to talk about one last thing. And as I do a lot of this stuff, I start getting like just these ideas about how this energy might be working. And this is my take on this. You're going to hear a lot of takes. If you go looking for it, you're going to hear a lot of different ideas of what this might mean. Now, does it mean that it's going to happen to you? Something's happening to you? No. What it's like is kind of being offered something, and it's up to you if you want to take it or not, right? We have free will. We have choice, and that's the choice. I feel that's our choice, how we're going to use something or not. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is the song by Michael Jackson, because that's what came to me when I was thinking about this. Man in the Mirror, right? We're looking to change our ways, not change the ways of anybody else. So if I want to feel happier, I have to bring the joy. I have to let go of those things that are creating these ideas that keep me from happiness and joy and peace in my life. Okay, that's all I have to say for now. So that's your April energy. I don't say forecast because it doesn't sit right with me, but Yeah, so but this is a good time to have fun with friends. It's not a time of escapism because I feel like with the 3 and 5 energy, sometimes we want to escape those the blues, I want to say, of the energy of 3. Um, and allowing yourself to feel things, allowing yourself to express things, allowing yourself to get creative and bring those up and out somehow. Sometimes when we're drawing or cooking or gardening, all those are creative things, not just drawing or music, right? Anything that we're doing, we're hands on, or yeah, I'm gonna say hands on, or we're using our mind to bring something into reality. That's creating. So, what is it we're creating? And while we're in that state and that flow, allowing that energy just to flow, those ideas just to flow, um, we might get some insight as to why, we believe certain things, okay, or things about our past. So, allow that to come up for you. I know sometimes it's hard, especially if you don't have someone to talk to about it. Um, and if this is too difficult for you, I recommend that you go find a counselor, a therapist, a good friend, but a good friend who's going to really be strong for you, be there to help you process, not to blame, okay? Because it's easy for our friends to get in the blame game with us and nothing ever gets resolved. So those friends, although they might be your friends, they're not the best people for you. You want somebody that's going to kind of call you to the mat and say, "Hey, we got to do this work," okay? Okay, so that's it for now. Next month we're going to be in a 4 month, and that's about we're talking about getting your house in order. That's that's that energy. Okay, so take care. I'll see you at the end of the month, and have a happy eclipse, happy Easter today. Yeah, and enjoy this springtime. Okay, bye.